Maureen O'Hara was born Maureen Fitzsimons on August 17, 1920, in Ranelagh, a quiet suburb of Dublin, Ireland. Raised in a lively artistic household, she was encouraged from an early age to express herself creatively. Her parents recognized her dramatic instincts and enrolled her at the Abbey Theatre School, Ireland's national theatre, where she studied acting, voice, and movement. Even as a teenager, O'Hara possessed a commanding presence and fierce independence that set her apart. Her striking red hair and expressive green eyes would later become iconic, though early black and white films could not fully capture her visual impact. More important than her appearance, however, was her confidence and discipline. She carried herself with a sense of dignity shaped by Irish tradition and strong family values, qualities that would define both her performances and her personal choices throughout a long and extraordinary life. A sudden rise to international stardom. O'Hara's transition from Irish theatre to international cinema happened with remarkable speed. She caught the attention of actor Charles Laughton, who was impressed by her talent and screen presence. He cast her in Jamaica Inn in 1939, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, a role that introduced her to global audiences. That same year, she appeared opposite Laughton in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, portraying Esmeralda with emotional depth and strength well beyond her years. The performance cemented her reputation as more than just a beautiful face. Hollywood quickly took notice, and her move from British cinema to American studios was seamless. Unlike many actresses of the era, O'Hara was not molded into fragile or decorative roles. Instead, she was cast as women with backbone, intelligence, and emotional complexity, helping redefine what a leading lady could represent on screen. Defining strength in Hollywood's golden age. During the 1940s and 1950s, Maureen O'Hara became synonymous with strong, independent female characters. At a time when many actresses were limited to passive romantic roles, she consistently portrayed women who were outspoken, principled, and unafraid to challenge authority. Films like How Green Was My Valley, The Black Swan, and Sinbad the Sailor showcased her versatility and emotional range. Audiences admired her ability to convey tenderness without weakness and passion without compromise. Her performances reflected her own personality: proud, resilient, and deeply self-aware. She refused to be reduced to a stereotype and often pushed back against scripts that failed to respect her intelligence. This insistence on dignity earned her admiration, but it also set her apart in an industry that often rewarded compliance. Still, O'Hara's authenticity resonated strongly, securing her place as one of Hollywood's most respected actresses. Legendary collaborations and cinematic chemistry. Among O'Hara's most celebrated partnerships were her collaborations with director John Ford and actor John Wayne. Together, they created films that have endured for generations, including Rio Grande, McClintock, and most famously, The Quiet Man. In The Quiet Man, O'Hara's portrayal of Mary-Kate Danaher captured both fiery independence and emotional vulnerability, making the character unforgettable. Her chemistry with Wayne felt natural and powerful, rooted in mutual respect and genuine friendship off-screen. These films showcased O'Hara's ability to balance strength with sensitivity, elevating romantic storytelling to something more grounded and human. While Ford was known for his demanding style, he also recognized O'Hara's talent and relied on her presence to bring emotional authenticity to his work. These collaborations became cornerstones of classic cinema and remain central to her enduring legacy. Refusing to be controlled by the studio system. Off-screen, Maureen O'Hara was just as formidable as the characters she portrayed. She resisted Hollywood's rigid studio system, insisting on fair treatment and creative autonomy. Unlike many of her peers, she refused to alter her accent, appearance, or principles to fit industry expectations. She openly rejected roles she found demeaning or shallow. Even when doing so, risked her career momentum. O'Hara believed deeply in personal integrity and refused to compromise her values for fame. This independence earned her both admiration and resistance within the industry. She was known for standing her ground during contract negotiations and demanding respect in professional relationships. While this approach sometimes limited opportunities, it allowed her to maintain control over her image and self-worth. In an era when many actresses felt powerless, O'Hara's resolve made her a quiet trailblazer for professional dignity in Hollywood. Personal relationships and life beyond. Film O'Hara's personal life was marked by deep love, difficult lessons, and resilience. She married 3 times, each relationship shaping her in different ways. Her early marriages were brief and challenging, reflecting the pressures of youth and demanding careers. She later found stability and fulfillment with aviator Charles F. Blair Jr., whom she married in 1968. Their relationship was built on mutual respect, adventure, and companionship. O'Hara eventually stepped away from acting to support Blair's aviation business, embracing a quieter life away from Hollywood. Tragically, Blair died in a plane crash in 1978, a devastating loss that profoundly affected her. That same year, she faced a serious health diagnosis, which she confronted with characteristic strength. Through grief and recovery, O'Hara remained resilient, guided by faith, independence, and an enduring sense of purpose beyond the spotlight, speaking honestly about industry misconduct. In later years, Maureen O'Hara became increasingly candid about the darker realities of Hollywood's past. She spoke openly about inappropriate behavior, power imbalances, and the pressure placed on actresses to remain silent. O'Hara emphasized that her refusal to tolerate unethical conduct sometimes came at a professional cost. While careful not to sensationalize her experiences, she made it clear that standing firm often meant lost opportunities. Her willingness to speak honestly was rare for her era, when careers could be destroyed by challenging powerful figures. O'Hara's reflections offered insight into a system that rewarded silence and punished resistance. Rather than portraying herself as a victim, she framed her experiences as a testament to personal dignity. Her voice added important context to later conversations about accountability in entertainment, highlighting the courage required to maintain integrity in environments shaped by unchecked authority. A complicated relationship with power and genius. One of the most complex professional relationships in O'Hara's life was with director John Ford. She acknowledged his brilliance as a filmmaker while also speaking about the emotional difficulty of working under his leadership. Ford was known for intense, sometimes harsh directing methods, which could create tension on set. O'Hara later described moments of public criticism and emotional strain, emphasizing that such behavior, while normalized at the time, was deeply challenging. Importantly, she never denied Ford's artistic contributions or attempted to erase his legacy. Instead, she offered a nuanced perspective, recognizing both his genius and his flaws. Her willingness to discuss this complexity reflected emotional maturity and honesty. O'Hara believed that acknowledging truth did not diminish art, but enriched understanding. A pioneer whose voice came before its time. Long before broader cultural conversations emerged about accountability in Hollywood, Maureen O'Hara had already spoken her truth. Her refusal to remain silent anticipated movements that would surface decades later. At a time when women were discouraged from challenging authority, she chose honesty over comfort. This courage did not always bring immediate validation, but history would later recognize its significance. O'Hara's legacy extends beyond her filmography. She demonstrated that success does not require surrendering one's values, and that dignity can coexist with ambition. Younger generations of performers would later benefit from voices like hers that helped shift industry expectations. O'Hara never positioned herself as a crusader, yet her example quietly reshaped the boundaries of acceptable treatment. A life remembered with honor and grace. Maureen O'Hara passed away peacefully on October 24, 2015, at the age of 95, concluding a life that spanned nearly a century of cultural change. In her later years, she lived quietly in Idaho, far removed from Hollywood's glare. She was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery beside her beloved husband, Charles Blair, a fitting tribute to a life marked by strength and service. O'Hara left behind a body of work that continues to inspire admiration, not only for its artistry, but for the values it reflected. She is remembered as a woman who lived boldly, loved deeply, and refused to compromise her dignity. Her legacy endures in classic films, candid reflections, and the example she set for generations of women determined to claim both their voices and their worth in challenging spaces.